You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Be my victim.
Hello, my name is Austin Torres, and welcome to the Would You Die podcast live, the show where we talk about our favorite horror monsters and villains. Today, I am joined by one of my best friends since first grade. Really, what do you got to say after that? I mean, that is all you got to say. We've been homies since we were
5 years old.
5 years old, under 4 feet tall, little youngsters.
Absolutely. Also,
This is
the music on the intro, I was vibing too.
I love it. I love it. So, guys, this is one of my best friends, Evan Jakovac. I'm second time you've been on the show.
Yes, I have. I was previously in a double feature that we probably talked for 4+ hours.
Yes. My 50th episode special where we counted down what I thought were the 50 scariest movie moments, I think. I was ripping off the Bravo's 100 scariest movies.
I'm fairly certain we started that at 10 and we didn't end until like 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah, it was bad. We both had to work in the morning.
Yeah, it was a work night too, so that was
YOLO. But yeah, so I'm excited to have one of my besties on, especially because this topic episode, guys, this is live. If you're listening to it after the fact, I'm not editing it. It is so
I can guarantee that it is live.
Yeah, so
he's messing up, so it's good.
So that, yep. Anyways, today is going to be an excellent episode because we are talking about Ty West's modern, instant classic trilogy of X, Pearl, and the just released MaXXXine. So, if you guys are joining in live, let me know. Say hi, all that live streamer stuff. And if you're listening to this or watching after the fact, thank you so much for joining. So, Evan.
Yes.
Before we get into X, Pearl, and MaXXXine, actually, I'm just going to say this real quick. We're not going to spoil MaXXXine. Not until the very end of the episode. I will give a spoiler alert. So don't worry about that. X and Pearl, we'll probably spoil those. Sorry.
I mean, we kind of have to. We're talking about the films. We're going to spoil all of them at some point.
Yes, but we'll give warnings for MaXXXine. I think that's fair.
That's fair enough. I'll hold you to it. But if we forget, we forget.
So what is kind of like your relationship with horror? I know I have asked you this before when I had you for episode 50, but this is episode 127. It's been a while.
That is true. Yeah, it has been a long time. So my relationship with horror, I actually have zero idea where it began. I don't. I think I just ended up watching horror movies. And I mean, actually, I think truly my relationship with horror started by just watching terrible B-list horror movies on the horror network on TV. What was it called? Chiller.
Oh,
Chiller, the old cable channel Chiller. To where they would show the most outrageous and ridiculously stupid horror movies. Mm-hmm. And from there, it kind of just took off from that point. So I've been watching horror movies for forever, but I think that was what stemmed my love of the the B-list movies that try to be good but are so ridiculously bad that they're now amazing. Shout out to Sharknado and the likes.
I remember we watched Ghost Shark live.
Yes, we did. And I remember both of us sitting there and freaking out at the scene of the like little like 12-year-old boy that's just walking down the street and the shark pops out of the puddle.
Are the kids at the birthday party and the one kid goes to do the water slide and then the shark just turns into the shark?
Yes.
I love it.
I do think that is where my horror movie enjoyment started. And it's probably middle school, watching those types of movies.
And it's funny because over the years, you and I have seen a lot of horror movies together.
Oh, God, yeah.
Especially once we hit college, we watched a lot of horror movies together.
There are, I want to say, probably only 3 horror movies that I have ever seen in theaters not with you.
I'm so proud of that.
I mean, it's not the type of movie I just go and see normally. But when I had my horror movie watching buddy, I would go see them all the time.
I love that, especially because, and I think I alluded to this a little earlier, the reason why it was very important that you were my guest to talk about X, Pearl, and now MaXXXine is because every time I've gone to so here's the story. When X was coming out, I didn't know anything about it. I hadn't watched anything by Ty West up until that point. I really only knew Ty West from his cameo in You're Next. And with X coming out, I'm like, I like Brittany Snow. Jenna Ortega, I just saw her in Scream, so I'm interested. I didn't really see anything with Mia Goth at that point, so she was new to me. And I didn't know what X was about. I saw a trailer. I'm like, oh, it's people trying to make a porno, and I guess it's a slasher. So that's all I needed to know. My ticket was sold. And I was planning on just seeing it the Wednesday of its opening week, just by myself. And I think the day before I texted you, and I was like, hey, you want to see a horror movie with me? It's called X. And that's all I told you.
Yep. That was 100%. I had zero clue what the movie was about. Honestly, by the time the movie was ending, I only slightly gained a clue about what it was about.
I love it.
It took about until halfway through to where it actually started to flush out into, oh, it's that kind of a movie.
If I remember correctly, there were not a lot of people in the theater with us, probably because we saw a kind of a late showing on Wednesday night.
Yeah, it was pretty dead. I think there was literally, we were hoping it was going to be one of those movies where it was just us in the theater, and I think one couple showed up.
I think it was one or two. Yes.
And they sat right in front of us.
That's right. Yep.
I was like, of all the places in the whole empty theater you could have sat, you literally take the 2 seats just straight in front of us.
I didn't think it was. It didn't end up being a huge deal because
we moved over seats. They sat down and we moved over a couple seats.
I don't remember that, but I do remember the movie. And I rewatched X somewhat recently, so that's very fresh in my mind.
What, today?
No, I actually watched Pearl today. I meant to watch it last night, but your boy fell asleep.
Fair enough.
So I watched it
Happens.
after work today.
Fair.
But moving on to Pearl in our story, we stayed to the end of the credits because I must have saw something where like stay to the end of the credits, and I'm like, okay, I didn't know why, but that's what I heard. So I made Evan stay to the end of the credits, and it was a trailer for Pearl, and we just looked at each other and we're like, yeah, we're seeing this opening night.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And they kept the same energy with Pearl at the end.
Oh, yeah, because I had a teaser for MaXXXine.
Yes,
And
it
we,
did.
and we were like, what? We got it. We looked at each other and we're like, we got to see it.
One of the coolest things about the whole trilogy and the way it was put together is that almost every film was in post-production by the time the previous film was put out.
Yeah.
So they already basically had trailer, promotional, all that stuff ready for the next film. And they were so fast from each other. What, 9 months? Or between X and Pearl was 6 months. And between Pearl and MaXXXine was 9, I think.
Well, Pearl and MaXXXine's just a little over a year. Because Pearl
Was it
came
over a
out.
year?
It came out September of 2022. And then we just got MaXXXine July of 2024. So
I thought
just under 2 years. But
Pearl
X and Pearl
X
were
came out
shot
in
at the same time.
And they came out in the same year.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, one came out early in the year, one came out in like November of the same year or something like that.
Yeah, but you were pretty spot on. Because X and Pearl were shot at the same time. So that's why they came out so quickly. And then MaXXXine, Ty West had like either had the script ready or he had like an idea of where to take the script, but he basically, as soon as Pearl came out, he just went right into MaXXXine, making MaXXXine, and we just saw it.
Yes, we did.
So to kind of finish out the story, I gotta give a little bit of context. You moved away from me.
Yes, I did.
So we're both Michigander boys, and Evan goes up and moves to Colorado, abandoning me, which is fine. I guess it's cool, whatever. But it just happened to work out that Evan was able to come home and see MaXXXine with me. So our streak of seeing this trilogy in theaters did not end.
I mean, it got lucky that it was on a holiday weekend. I will put that for sure.
Yeah, that's. I choose to believe it was all for me.
Uh-huh. Yeah, sure. Let's go with that. We'll go with that.
So, guys, if you're listening and you want to hop in the chat, go for it. We're homies. We're all chilling out. We all have our beverages of choice. If you're listening or watching after the fact, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
I mean, you can still have a beverage of choice with you. It's just not as cool. You could be talking to us as well.
That's true. I see you guys. I see the little eye hole peoples, pee eye holes. Hi.
Oh man, is that the Adam Anderson?
Hi, Adam. Thank you for joining.
I mean, that's another dude who has saw his fair share of horror movies with us.
Yes. I feel like it's a little Spartan reunion right now.
Just a little bit.
Go green.
Go white.
So, but yeah, let's just dive into it. Let's talk about X.
Yeah, I will have you know, it's been about almost 2 years since I have seen X.
So you only saw it in the theater with me.
Yeah, I've only seen it opening night. That is literally, or not opening night, but the opening week, I guess.
Ah, Adam, why do you have to break my heart?
Yeah, I know. We are in 3 different states. Michigan, Colorado, and Oregon.
But now we got to talk about Texas, because
Yes. Yes, we do.
that is where X takes place. And just to kind of run down the story, spoiler alerts for people who haven't seen X. It's about a group of people with Mia Goth as MaXXXine, Brittany Snow as a Bobby Lynn. Kid Cudi is in this movie.
Kid Cudi is in which?
Yes, as a Jackson. I forget Marcus Henderson's name. Wayne. It's Wayne. And then RJ, the cinematographer, who I don't remember the name of the person who plays him, and Jenna Ortega as I believe her name's Lorraine. So they're all in a van, and they're heading up to a farmhouse in Texas to make a porno.
Yes, they are.
It's late 70s, and they're trying to be famous. They're trying to live the good life, and you know, filmmaking's hard no matter what you do. But
yeah,
in the 70s, there were less opportunities than there are now. Now, any guy with an iPhone can make a movie.
That is true.
Would it be good?
Not every guy with an iPhone makes a good movie.
Right. But there is less access to equipment and stuff like that. But in the late 70s, when home video was kind of like starting to be a thing, that's when like the porno industry was starting to kind of evolve. I don't know. It's hard to say. I wasn't alive in the 70s. I can't say for sure.
That is true. That's, a little before our time.
But from my understanding, I'm pretty sure that's how it went down.
We're not particularly young, but we're not that old. So
right. Exactly. But yeah, so they're going to this farmhouse in Texas, and there's an old couple who live there, and they're not exactly wrapped right.
No, they are very, very strange individuals. But also, now that I'm remembering it in hindsight, it very much seemed like they rented out the place in a very like Airbnb type way.
Yes.
And then it was also in the 70s. So like, how in the hell did they even get that place? Because clearly Pearl and Pearl's husband were not the I doubt they were the type who's like, yeah, we're just going to be fielding calls for people wanting to rent out our rooms.
As I kind of walk you through it, I think you're going to remember some things. I don't want to jump around too much. Fuck it. I'm going to jump around a bunch. So I'm going to try and jog your memory and jog the memories of people who haven't seen X for a little while. When Jenna Ortega's character gets lured into the basement, and then she finds like the one dude hanging with his pants around his ankles.
Oh yeah.
And he's dead. And she unleashes that scream, which was all over the marketing of this movie.
True.
That famous Jenna Ortega scream. Oh yeah. It's like a contender for top scream of the decade so far. But yeah, I think the film implies that Pearl and Howard, that's the name of the old couple, they've been doing this a while to satisfy Pearl's appetite.
Yeah. Appetite, kink, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, both. We're on the same page.
Yeah, they're same things.
Same, exactly.
Kind of.
Exactly. So yeah, that's the basis of the story. Just kind of pulling off the Band-Aid. This group of young people wanna film a porno in the farmhouse by these two old people who have their own kinks. Really, just Pearl. Howard's a ride and die though.
Howard is
ride or die. Yeah.
Howard is one of the most confusing horror characters of all time, and that extends even beyond into the next movie of Pearl. That man is, I don't know completely what his deal is, but he is all for Pearl in the strangest and weirdest ways possible.
That's true love, man.
Is it though?
Look, I don't know what your definition of ride or die is, but they ride and then other people die.
Okay. If you're putting ride or die in that context, then it is 100% true. Actually, I would put that as he's not ride or die, he's ride and die.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of die, I think the movie's pretty bloodless for the first half. I mean, it starts with the end of the movie, to kind of, and then it goes 24 hours earlier, after like a little cold open, kind of hinting of what's to come, and then you see a dead cow, which is pretty gross. But other than that, there's no like blood. And then at the halfway point of the movie, which follows a really nice cover of Fleetwood Mac's Landslide, which has Brittany Snow singing, which, you know, if you're going to have Brittany Snow in your movie, she should sing.
Well, yeah, I mean, she's got the training from the whatchamacallit movies.
Pitch Perfect
movies, yeah.
And she was in Hairspray.
Was she?
She plays the racist daughter.
Oh, that would make sense.
But
no offense to her, but you kind of got the look.
But she's a really good singer. I think she's amazing in this movie, Brittany Snow.
Oh yeah, she was. She was one or two of my favorite characters, and it was either Brittany Snow or Jenna Ortega. Actually, MaXXXine herself fell to the wayside in this movie for me, which
I get that.
Behold,
yeah,
she's the big star of the third, but yeah, she was kind of like. I understand how they were kind of pushing her sort of growth into the story, or like her thing forward. But Jenna Ortega and Brittany Snow's characters were just more interesting.
Especially because, like, with Jenna Ortega, she with her character at the very beginning of the movie, she's not saying anything. She's quiet. She earns the nickname Church Mouse. And then at the end of the movie, she's screaming and hollering, and she's like, hey, yeah. And I sometimes a character arc could just be, was quiet, now loud. Impeccable.
Well, yeah. That's some of the greatest character growth you can get.
Dude, I got to tell you a story.
Was afraid of everything.
Yes.
Kills a serial killer. Like, that's pretty much most horror movies growth patterns.
I was gonna be like, did she kill a serial killer? But she kind of did.
Yeah, sort of.
Well, I mean, so I'm assuming you remember this part very well. With first off, she gets her face blasted off with a shotgun by Howard, And then Howard and Pearl are carrying her into the house. And then she's like, her dead body just like spits up a little bit of blood and gives him a heart attack. And
Yes.
it's a horrible thing to laugh at, but I'm sorry, it's funny. In the movie,
No,
it's funny. I think it's supposed to be funny in the movie. That or I'm a dick.
no, I mean it has to have the point of being funny in the movie.
Especially because like the whole movie, he keeps saying my heart. Because Pearl just wants to fuck.
That's true. Yeah.
And the whole movie, Howard's like, I
Anything.
can't, my heart, I can't. They end up doing the nasty above MaXXXine. She's
Yeah,
hiding
that was
under the bed and they don't know. Oh,
out
seeing
of
that in the theaters with like the one other couple and then just you and me was a little uncomfy.
yeah, and that scene itself, I could not remember anything about that movie aside from grandpa sex. Grandpa and grandma sex. No, that literally came out of nowhere. And I will once again put into perspective, I came into this movie not knowing a singular thing about it. So, my first and has forever been impression of the film is Austin invited me to go see two old people have sex and kill people. So, you know.
Am I wrong? Was I wrong to do that? I don't think so.
Maybe a little wrong, but it is what it is.
Would you have gone seen this movie had I told you anything about it?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
You
are a
you know
homie.
me. You know me. If I wasn't doing anything on the night, you'd be like, hey, there's a movie I want to go see. And be like, what time?
Yeah,
if the time fits with it, I really don't care what movie it is.
That's true, and you've proven this on multiple occasions.
Yeah.
But I do want to talk about old people having sex first.
He does invite everyone.
What can I say? But yeah, back to old fucking.
Oh Jesus.
I actually think it's it's done to be like gross, right? And it is.
Yeah, I mean it's meant to be this creepy sort of. I don't know. Didn't it start up? She was like sleeping in the bed with her or something, or
yeah, that happened earlier. Yeah,
yeah, that happened earlier.
The old woman was in the bed with me. She's Mia Goth freaking out. Great scene, by the way. Because it's so uncomfy because she's covered in blood from the people she's killed, and she's just kind of touching MaXXXine. That's creepy. Can you imagine waking up to that?
Just like, oh god. No, I don't want to imagine waking up to that. I also don't want to imagine being under the bed while two geriatric people are banging on top of it. It's there's a lot of things in all of these films that I would not like to imagine ever.
Thank God for Ty West.
Yeah.
Imagining the things so we don't have to.
Oh god, yeah. And but, honestly, yeah. Comparing across all three of the films, X is by far the most disturbing.
Okay. I can see that.
I would put it as the one with the most like shock imagery and disturbing kind of way.
I would have to think of what I think would be the answer, but as of right now, I'm like, I think I agree.
I mean, aside from the torture in Pearl.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
But for all of the imagery and stuff, like for all of the weird, creepy things that happen in X, I think it's the most disturbing from imagery standpoint.
I think I agree with that. But all of them kind of have their fair share of disturbing imagery.
Oh yeah,
I do think X I think is the grimiest.
yes.
It's very inspired, I think, by films like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Psycho. I mean, the film explicitly references Psycho, so I'm not too far off with that one.
Well,
But
yeah, of course.
yeah.
Well, that
But
was.
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know. Do we want to go into some sort of imagery in MaXXXine that does relate to X here? Shouldn't be spoilery because it's based in Hollywood, so it's just a location that things happen.
Okay, I think yeah, we can make this connection because this was in the trailer.
Was it?
So, yeah, this was in the trailer. Tourist Trap. I haven't seen Tourist Trap. Is Tourist Trap
Are you telling us that Hollywood's a tourist trap?
No, that's a movie. Tourist Trap's a movie. I've heard of it. I just is that in relation to X or MaXXXine? Because I haven't seen Tourist Trap, so I'm not making the connect, but I've heard of it. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. But to what Evan's relating to, the Bates Motel,
yeah,
and the Bates house shows up in MaXXXine to kind of hammer home the Psycho
imagery
vibes
of the house on the top of the hill and the house or motel or where they were staying in the first. It was supposed to be a direct comparison to the Bates Motel. Your house of horror up on the hill and your what's supposed to be just a friendly, kind, place to stay, and murders happen. Yeah, that was I didn't even recognize that from the start of watching X, but when we were watching MaXXXine and I saw that, I was like, oh, so X was just supposed to be like Bates mode, like Psycho.
Psycho, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that actually makes a lot more sense.
A little bit of Psycho, a little bit of Texas Chainsaw, a little bit of Tourist Trap.
With a whole lot of sex.
Yeah, but something I want to talk about, and there's a little bit of Psycho in Pearl because I watched Pearl earlier today, and it had like a shot from Psycho. Pearl's the least like slasher vibes, I think, because it's trying to do something different. But I don't want to talk about Pearl just yet. I want to stay on X for a second.
Yeah,
because we got to talk about the real star of X,
the Gator.
Yeah, guys, you can tell Evan's known me since first grade. I love alligators.
Yes, the Gator. I mean, from the very beginning, you knew they had to have a graphic scene of somebody getting ripped apart by the Gator, or
like
multiple.
Like when we. Tanya Roberts. I definitely have to check out Tourist Trap. But when we first saw X, I had only seen the trailer. All you knew was it was called X. That's all you knew.
Yep. No idea.
I had no clue there was a gator in the movie until the gator showed up.
Yeah, I had no clue there was anything in the movie.
Fair enough, but I don't think you were gonna guess there was a gator until there was a gator.
No, okay. My only like guesses of you saying we're gonna go see the movie X. It's a horror movie. I just had to assume some people were going to die.
But as soon as the gator showed up, you were right.
One of the most satisfying ways to die on film.
By
in the water with the red puddle of blood spinning and the super thrashing. God, one of my favorite ways to have a person die on film. It's so cool.
Yes, and something I want to talk about X real quick before we jump into Pearl is in X. Death roll. Yes, we love gators. We love gators. Anyways, I could get very distracted by the alligators. But
yes,
with
we all do.
X is I think X, while being horrific and disturbing, is a beautiful movie. There's a lot of beauty in X. I think it's one of the most I think it's one of the most beautiful horror movies I've ever seen, in which the way the shots are composed are aesthetically beautiful.
Okay.
There's I think stunning composition. I think the same of MaXXXine as well. And I think Pearl has like the prettiest aesthetic. Pearl being like a Technicolor Wizard of Oz vibe.
Yeah. I would say Pearl has the most, how would I put it, artsy style to it.
I think it's I would say like classic, because I think they're all artsy but in different ways.
Yes, they are all artsy in different ways, but you can't say that Pearl having the, I guess he did very, very much try to bring it back to a similar style that would be shot around that time, while also utilizing everything that he could from obviously modern technology, which is just far and above. So
because X is sleazy. X is like you could feel the Texas of it all, even though it was shot in New Zealand. Yes, you could smell that film. Exactly.
Yeah, you could literally smell it. Yep, that is 100% true. Agreed.
Yes, but then it also like out of nowhere has what I think is one of the most beautiful shots I've ever seen in a horror film, where Mia Goth's MaXXXine is skinny dipping in the lake, and she's just floating there, not a care in the world, and we see the alligator.
Oh, true.
And then there's this beautiful overhead shot. It's like really, it's probably just a drone, 100 feet in the air. But Mia Goth is tiny and swimming back to the dock, and the alligator is slowly,
moving,
just kind of moving closer, following, and it's like it looks like a painting.
That is true. Yeah, as I've said, it's been about 2 years since I've seen that film, so I'm no expert on the shots.
No, this is what we're doing. We're
no, that was an awesome
rejogging the memory.
Yeah, and I mean, I do just love the shots from like the lower, like you could tell they're from like the guest house area, but they're that lower big hill shot of the house itself, which is very much a callback to Psycho, now that I've recognized it. But man, actually, X had a lot of usage of the sky.
Mm-hmm.
In a lot of its like things going on. Like the sky was very much like shown, like big wide ranging shots. Until you were inside, and they made it very claustrophobic, and when you were outside they made it very wide open.
And because I'm thinking of a shot where they're walking from the farmhouse to the guest house or whatever it's called, and Ty West like you said, chose to shoot it in a wide, and you can see kind of like the expanse of their land, and
probably also a way for him to use the technique to make the shooting area seem bigger than it actually is. 10 out of 10, shoot it in a wide lens and make it look like it's massive, where it's just, You don't have to have a huge area if you wanted to mess around with your perspective from a wide lens. It looks so much bigger.
The headlights. Do you
Oh, true.
mean the kill? Because I was about to mention RJ's death, where Pearl kills RJ in front of the van, and then she just goes all psycho on him and literally paints the headlights red, and it creates this eerily beautiful moment where everything's bathed in red light. Yes, okay,
Mm.
yes, everything's bathed in red lights, and it's just, oh, it's eerie and it's haunting. And then Pearl does that dance like she used to when she was younger.
Oh yeah,
And
covered in
yeah,
blood, just feeling herself though.
yes.
One of the things that I did love about that film that is now jogging my memory of it is that for every person that Pearl killed, you didn't have to suspend your disbelief like how was an 80-year-old killing this person? Because she always snuck up, got the first blow, cut somewhere, important to where you can't move anymore, things like that. Because there was no area where you had to think, oh yeah, there's no way that 220-pound rip dude is getting killed by an 80-year-old grandma. Unless
Right.
she comes up from the back and stabs you in the neck.
And
Again, then you're dead.
and no one saw her as a threat because no one took her seriously because she was like an old, frail 80-year-old.
True.
So she just stabs RJ in the neck right there because he's not expecting it. Because like, what's she gonna do? Apparently, stab you in the neck. The
Yeah.
only, yeah,
It's
the only,
effective.
mm-hmm, the only person who kind of like fights Pearl is MaXXXine at the end,
Yeah.
and Pearl almost wins that fight, except the shotgun knocks her like 20 feet, sends her flying 20 feet, and she breaks her hip.
Oh God. I forgot about that. That is true. Oh
I
man.
I'm pretty sure we both laughed at that part in a good way. I'm not
Oh
laughed like,
God, yeah.
I love X. I think X is a fantastic film, but I'm sorry. That was funny. That made me laugh.
I mean, what more fitting way for these 90-year-old serial killers to die than Howard getting blood squirted on him and having a heart attack, and
Yeah.
Pearl launching herself by trying to shoot a shotgun, to then having a car backed up over top of her.
That'll get you every time.
Yeah, I mean, 10 times out of 10, if my head explodes by a car rolling over it, probably dead.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be walking that one off in the morning.
I mean, it's effective 60% of the time, every time.
I love it. I love it. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of X. Right now on my Letterboxd, I have it rated at 4 stars. I think that's a very high rating, and I think it's a very well deserved rating. I
Fair.
I think X was one of the better horror films of 2022. And one of the few horror films of that year that I liked more than X was Pearl. So let's move on to Pearl.
Damn, look at that. Look at that transition. Smooth.
We're doing it live too.
Didn't even have to wait. Just moved right into it. All right, let's get going. Jog
Ooh,
my memory on the beginning.
some A24 love though. I'll shout out A24. Because I'm a big fan of a lot of their work. I think this X trilogy might be my favorite thing. That and Everything Everywhere All at Once are my favorite projects. A24 and Ladybird.
Everything Everywhere All at Once is basically one of my top 3 films of all time. So yeah,
it's so good.
It is. It is in so many ways a perfect, flawless movie, which in other ways can make people not like it. It's
I
depending
mean,
on what you
yeah,
like. Like
for sure.
if you're somebody who is a big fan of cinema and the way that things roll, and you do have an artsy side to you, then yeah, that's one of the best movies of all time. If
I
you're
yeah.
looking for just an action flick, it's probably not going to be your movie.
I think
I can guarantee it's not your
it
movie.
deserved that Oscar, all its Oscars. I was very
Yeah,
happy
all
when
what,
it
13
did
of them?
well.
All
It
what?
was quite a few. I don't think it was 13. I think it was like
I
5
thought
or
I
6.
thought it, I thought it either broke the record or it tied with Lord of the Rings: Return of the Kings for the most Oscars a movie has ever earned or
I don't
won.
I don't think it won that because All Quiet on the Western Front was winning a lot of awards that year. Because that movie won like 5. And I think Everything Everywhere All at Once won like 6, 5 or 6. But it won all the important ones.
Oh, okay. So it won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It won 7 of them.
Oh, 7. Okay, so
Yeah.
we were on opposite. It was in between our guesses.
Yeah. So the only ones that didn't win were costume design, music, or
Mhm.
original song, original score, and supporting actress.
Did it win writing?
Yeah, so it won directing, film editing, best picture, screenplay, supporting actor, lead actress, and oh well, it did win supporting actress, but it didn't win both because it had 2 best supporting actresses.
Yeah, right. They canceled the one of them won.
Jamie Lee Curtis won.
But when you have 2, either one's going to lose or they're both going to lose.
Yeah, I mean
And
they were
luckily
bound
only
to
one
win one
lost.
of them. Take your
Yeah,
pick.
exactly. But yeah, I Pearl came out that same year, and
Yeah, we got a little sidetrack. Let's bring her back.
while I was very happy Michelle Yeoh won the best actress Oscar that year, and I'm still very happy. I'm still very happy for that win. I think Michelle Yeoh deserved it. I really wanted Mia Goth to be nominated for Pearl, even though I'm like, that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, no. I
It's a
mean, just
small horror movie.
and she didn't get she didn't get a nomination, did she?
No, no.
No.
If Toni Collette wasn't going to be nominated for Hereditary, I don't think Mia Goth would have for Pearl, even though I thought she was
Which
more
is
than
fair.
deserving. But
Good.
A24, I'm going to give them credit. They put all of their marketing energy into Everything Everywhere All at Once, and they should have. I would have picked Everything Everywhere All at Once to put my efforts to.
Oh God, yeah. If you are going to promote something, you definitely promote the film that, once it's done and people are watching it and they're like, holy shit, that's spectacular. Yeah,
Yeah.
throw all your budget into marketing that thing.
And
which was
speaking,
which was absolutely
yeah.
hilarious about that film too, is like
Mhm.
its first week, it didn't do great in numbers and anything, but from just word of mouth after that first week, it was probably sold out in almost in so many
Oh
theaters,
yeah.
literally the next 3 weeks straight.
Every time I saw it in theaters, it was like more people than the last time I saw it in theaters.
Yeah, I know, because we went and saw it. God, it must have been like 2 weeks after it came out, 3 weeks after it came out.
Yes.
And we went to basically a fully packed theater.
And it was the third time I've seen it.
Yeah.
But it was, I think that's a fantastic film. Speaking of promotions, Spider was an early selection for the Chicago Film Festival, Horror Film Festival. Thank you, Chris, for pointing that out. Look at this.
What are you talking about? This little film here?
That little film directed by yours truly. I mean, if we're talking about promotion, then I gotta do my own little promotion.
Oh yeah, you bring out the main character.
So I don't have a poster, but I do have one of the stars.
Yeah, you bring out the main character.
I have one of the stars chilling in my little setup behind me. So thank you, man, for bringing that up. I'm super excited. If you guys are, depending on when you guys are listening to this, Spider is showing at the Chicago Horror Film Festival this September, the weekend of the 27th, 28th, and 29th.
Ooh, nice.
I'm very excited. I'm super, super excited. But enough about me. The people want to hear about Pearl. She's a star.
She's a star. She's going to be a star.
I love Pearl.
She kind of is.
I mean, there were so many Pearls the Halloween of 2022.
Fair.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did, man.
That's fair. Well, yeah, I mean, there's always going to be so many Pearls because guess what? It's an easy outfit that most girls just kind of had already some of the pieces lying around.
Well, it's not just easy. It's recognizable.
True.
It is that perfect balance of anyone can make it and most people can recognize it.
Yeah, I mean, normally if I'm trying to get in the mood of deciding what I'm going to wear for Halloween, I just go and wear, any outfit that I would normally wear in the 90s. Like, just grab a 90s base outfit, and then when you walk around, you just say, "These people don't know I'm Ghostface."
You got to get the blue flannel. That's what I was trying to say. The blue flannel to get that Ski Ulrich look.
Yeah, but it's so much better when you're just wearing something random and you're not even dressed up, and be like, little do you know, I'm Ghostface.
I got a Gizmo onesie, so I'm set for life.
God.
I don't need another Halloween costume. I'll probably get one here and there, but yeah. I love Pearl. I rewatched it earlier today. I think that film holds up. I think it's fantastic. Before I re-jog your memory, Evan, because I'm pretty sure the last time you've seen it was when we saw it in theaters, September of 2022.
Yeah, basically.
What do you remember of Pearl?
So what I remember of Pearl, I remember just bits and portions of it. So I do remember one of the biggest first things is she's trying out for the role of basically like a church singer or something who's going to go travel around and be that kind of dancer singer. And then I do remember things go wrong and she ends up meeting this dude and they live in basically a movie theater where he shows her porn for the first time. And so she kind of enjoys that in her own sort of way.
I do remember she was set up with Howard, but then Howard had to go away to, was he in a war or something?
World War One, yeah.
Yeah, so he went off to war, and she basically found this scrappy dude who's living in a movie theater, and she basically stays with him for a while, and then I can't remember what it is that kicks her off, but then I do remember, she ends up basically breaking his legs, hiding him in the basement, and pretty much torturing the shit out of him.
Okay, so.
And doesn't she feed? Oh my God. Oh, and I also remember the scene with all of the rotting food on the table as well.
Okay, yeah.
She kill her parents? Is that
Yes,
it?
that's her mom's the one she threw into the basement.
Oh, okay. So it was her mom that was in the basement. And then
And
basically they had all the rotting food, and I just remember that
yeah,
that disgusting rotting pie sitting on the front porch.
the pig. It was a pig.
Oh, was it a? Oh, it was a
Yeah.
full pig. Okay.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
I'm gonna commend you because
I've got
for not
things.
seeing it, for not seeing it in almost 2 years. You remember it very well. I think a
Yes.
few of the details got a little conflated, but like details, like you got the overall picture pretty
Yeah.
down. Much better than I could do a lot of movies that I haven't seen in that long. But luckily I have just rewatched it today. So it's, unlike that pig, very fresh.
Yeah, my pig is completely rotted on the
And
front
all
porch
maggoty.
in the hot Texas sun.
But so okay, so the
Oh, and then
torture.
also
Yeah.
I remember at the end Howard just comes home and sees all the death, and he's like, "All right, let me help you clean this up."
And it ends on her smile. She's like,
Oh yeah, and she's just sitting there for like 3 minutes with this deranged smile, and she like starts crying at certain points, and then just like is like, that was one of the creepiest things I think I've ever seen.
I don't know if I have a photographic memory. I just remember certain things well. And it helps that I did rewatch Pearl today. I rewatched X very recently. We'll get into MaXXXine in a little bit. MaXXXine we saw over the weekend. My social studies teacher, Mr. Wymore, he said that I had a photographic memory. And I'll always remember this because he's like, Austin, you aced another one of my tests, and I know you don't study, so I think you have a photographic memory.
Yes, there are such things as photographic memories, but the vast majority of the time, I swear to God, I think everybody has a photographic memory, but it has to be for things that you actually really want to remember.
I think
if it's something that's
like
interesting
movies,
to you,
yeah.
If it's something that's interesting to you and you like it, everybody has the capability of having a photographic memory.
I agree.
And for people who are very good at school and stuff like that,
yeah,
your photographic memory just works on things that you don't have to be passionate about.
Dude.
Now I want you to remember that statement of mine forever.
Oh, I'm dead. I'm dead.
Oh God, I did not read that correctly. Pornographic.
That comment wins. That comment wins. But okay. So Pearl.
You must know a lot about X then.
So, all right. The torturing in the basement, I think you're kind of conflating that with X. Because
Am
that
I?
I think so. Because
So,
in Pearl,
who had
she
the one
throws.
who was in super amounts of pain trying to crawl up the stairs?
So that was his. That was her mom in Pearl,
Yeah,
but
with broken
that's
legs, right, or something?
it wasn't really like torture. She they had a fight at dinner, and then she caught on fire,
Ooh, okay, yeah.
and then Pearl just threw her into the cellar. But it wasn't really like I wouldn't consider it torture, more just like leaving for dead, which I guess could be a
Okay,
form of
yeah.
torture. But
Well,
it
I
was
mean,
it's not
it
like
did end up
Saw.
it did end up turning into torture, as you saw in X,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Um, but
Okay,
then Pearl, the projectionist, he's kind of living a bohemian lifestyle. Howard is off fighting World War One. Pearl and Howard were married beforehand, and
yeah.
she actually does love him, but she was missing him, and she was angry at him for leaving her, and the isolation of the pandemic, because
Damn.
yeah, that was also had like a what you call it, a pandemic in 1918,
Oh, Spanish.
um, the Spanish
Okay.
flu. Yep, and then she's auditioning for the dance troupe, the church dance troupe that's going to tour the state,
Yeah.
and her and her sister-in-law Mitzi, um
Ooh, yeah, the
they auditioned
sister-in-law.
to get.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mitzi's important because that's where Pearl has that huge monologue at the end. She's talking to Mitzi and pretending Mitzi is Howard, and she's like, I hate you for leaving me. I hate you so much. I wish you would die. And just goes on this
Mm.
amazing monologue that might be one of my favorite monologues in a horror movie. Um, it's not quite the Quint Indianapolis, USS Indianapolis monologue from Jaws, but
Uh,
it's a very good
what is?
one.
What is?
Exactly. What is? Exactly. There to me, there's not many monologues better than that. I think that is my favorite monologue. But the Pearl monologue, I think is fantastic, and I was mesmerized when we saw it, and I was
Oh yeah.
mesmerized today when I watched it earlier today. And I
I mean,
think,
it's
yeah,
like the most mesmerizing parts of that whole film were the just long, prolonged single shot. You knew they were one singular take, just super long monologues, just shooting her face, slowly getting more and more deranged. Like those shots were so they were hauntingly weird. It's the best way I
yeah,
can put it.
and
They
like
were so
yeah,
like
the smile at the end is, I think, famous now.
well, those were the ones that made you try to think like what is going on right now. And
Right.
there was some point in my head as I was watching that being like, this has been going on for a while.
Like, damn,
And then
Ty, why are you making
you're
me
like
do this?
watching it and you're like, did she change her face? Is it just getting more, or is that like just the normal effects of a person who's told to, you know, if you're told right now, sit here and smile into this camera for 3 minutes, at some point you're probably going to look insane.
Yeah, because it hurts.
It does.
It's a workout.
So I'm wondering if that was like the whole point of it and trying to show that sort of weird aspect.
I know they
Also,
did it, and
I feel
they
like
only did it once.
I feel like, you know, I'm part of a seance right now, so I'm probably gonna go turn the light on.
Uh, Nope, you have to do this entire live stream in darkness. No, I'm kidding.
Boo. Oh my god, look at that flash
Let
pop.
there be light.
Oh god, I just flashbanged you.
I feel like I'm playing Halo 3.
Huh. Are there flashbangs in Halo?
Yeah, it was one of the... Because in Halo 3, you had like the equipment. It was the bubble shield.
Oh yeah. I had all of them.
Yeah. So Pearl, I'm going to jog your memory real quick. Pearl reveals in it a super important detail about X.
Really?
Mm-hmm. The alligator's name is Theta.
Oh my god. Wait, there was alligator name reveal in Pearl?
In Pearl. Mm-hmm. I don't remember, even though I watched X last week, I don't remember if they say the alligator's name in X. But yeah, her name, Pearl calls her Theta.
Yeah, I don't remember any naming and... Well, yeah, I mean, I haven't watched them in years, so you would be the one better to know all of this. So I did not remember naming, but how did she name it? And was she just sitting at that dock in the back and it was like a baby alligator at that point? Or like a young alligator?
No, because she, opening of the movie, she feeds a goose she just killed to Theta. She's like, "Here,
okay.
Theta," and the alligator comes, and then she also feeds the projectionist and poor Mitzi to Theta.
Yeah.
It's very graphic. She axes up Mitzi's body. And what I want to know is, I mean, I know Howard is a ride or die, but that was your sister, Howard. That was your sister.
Yes.
And
but
he's like...
Also, I don't think Howard has a singular solid bone in his entire body.
I guess not.
Or is Howard just afraid he'd die?
I don't think so. I think as the young people on TikTok would say, I think he matches Pearl's freak.
Yes. I think. I'm in.
I think
Sure?
he's so into Pearl. He's like, I know you axed up my sister, but you know,
I mean,
I could roll with that. No, I don't believe she did. Because I just watched it today. For everyone listening, I got a question in the chat. Did she end up feeding her dad the alligator? And I know she did Mitzi. No, she didn't. She didn't.
She did not feed the alligator to anyone. She ended up feeding her dad to the alligator. That's a whole different story.
But I'm sorry.
Learn to spell, man.
My bad. But to answer the question, her dad, Pearl's dad and mom is at the dinner table, just dead at the end of the movie, like something out of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. She has her dead parents just chilling. So when Howard comes home at the very end, he sees his two like decomposing in-laws and then like all the rotten food, and then Pearl's like, Howard, you're home. And then she does that amazing smile cry. So that's Pearl. I think it's time to move on to MaXXXine. She did imagine Howard exploding when she crushes one of Theta's eggs. She
Oh,
imagines Howard exploding. That's
Visa
about
seems like
midway
not.
in the movie. She stole one of Theta's eggs and then crushes it.
Well
She
then,
almost fed her dad to the alligator, but
fair.
her mom stops her before. But yeah, I got you guys. I
Who
got
gets
them
fed to
deets.
the alligator in X?
Was it
Who gets fed to the alligator in X?
Brittany Snow?
Oh, okay. She was the one who was tossed in. All right.
Yep. Yep.
Fair enough. That's the way you're gonna do it.
So
If I were to die
it
in a
did look
horror
great.
movie, if I were to die in a horror movie, I would love to die by alligator.
Well, we'll get to that question later, believe you me.
Nice.
you know how this show goes. But I
Oh,
do want to talk about MaXXXine before the end of the night. Before we get into MaXXXine, like spoilers and stuff, I do want to just kind of talk about our thoughts. So, without any spoilers, what are some of your initial thoughts with MaXXXine?
I thought, well, I came in with zero expectations of what was actually going to happen in the film, which honestly, for these films, great way to walk into them.
Oh
It
yeah,
just gives you
I
as much
totally agree.
information, like it gives you just the most breadth as possible. So if you haven't seen it and you do want to see it, maybe you shouldn't listen to our spoiler portion. But from what I got from that film is watching it, I very much enjoyed the route that it was and the way that it went. Hindsight after a few days, it's not as memorable as X or Pearl were in their own way. Still, absolutely beautiful. Some of the shots and things and the storyline, awesome. But like compared to having the singular moments of like Pearl and X that really just latch onto your brain. And even if you haven't watched it in 2 years, somebody asks you, what do you remember about this film? And you're able to pinpoint some of these wild things that happen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if MaXXXine has all of them. It's a great movie. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it just a little bit less than the other two.
I think that's completely fair. And yeah, I'll give you a full warning when we do get into spoilers. This way you have time. I don't want to spoil MaXXXine for anyone because that movie just came out. Not everyone had a chance to see it.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
I also don't want to wait too long to do a MaXXXine episode because I'm trying to get them clicks. Y'all know what I'm saying? Boom, 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 boom. So my kind of initial spoiler-free MaXXXine thoughts. I think it's beautiful. I think it is a gorgeous movie. I love the aesthetic. I love everything about its style. And the way that X was like a little bit of Psycho, a little bit of Texas Chainsaw, like grimy exploitation. Pearl was very Wizard of Oz, Technicolor, spectacle. MaXXXine to me is like a 1980s. It's like a mix between 1980s glamour with 1940s Hollywood noir.
Yes, that is exactly what it is.
So it's
It mixes those two
it's like,
together.
yeah.
Like whereas you think of the old school noir and you've got the black and white and the gloomy sort of detective type deal. Then you got the glam that's all about the bright colors and the craziness.
Yeah.
Blend those together in a very strange way because the story of it revolves more around noir with the whole aesthetics of it being like the Hollywood, pizzazz, I guess. Which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
It is very cool when you look at it from the way that it looks.
And I think like it's like Madonna meets the Maltese Falcon meets 80s slash meets Halloween. It's got a lot of like Italian giallo too, which my friend
You're welcome
Celeste
with
from
that.
Sweet and Spooky, she taught me Italian giallo films, and it's films like The Red Queen Kills 7 Times and Deep Red and stuff like that. And it's basically super colorful killer. It's a mystery killer with like black leather gloves. And it's a lot of like style over substance in giallo. Inferno, yeah. Inferno. Oh, snap. I think MaXXXine is like part Madonna, part Strangers on a Train, part Deep Red.
You lost me with that metaphor, but hopefully somebody listening got it.
Have you seen Malignant?
Probably when it first came out.
We did not see Malignant together. So
no,
if you didn't see it,
I
okay.
think I saw it, but I don't remember when.
I don't think you did, because you'd remember Malignant.
Oh, then maybe not. All right.
I just know that's a movie you specifically would remember.
Okay, well now we need to find and watch Malignant. Jesus.
It should be on HBO. I don't want to say what Malignant is for people who haven't seen Malignant, so I'm going to keep hush. I do have Malignant episodes, but those are spoiler heavy. If you haven't seen Malignant, fix your life. Do that now. If you're listening, if you're watching live, finish this live stream, please and thank you. But yeah,
you can go watch it right now, but then you'd have to listen to the end of it on Spotify or rewatch this tomorrow. So take whichever one you want.
Exactly. But yeah, back to MaXXXine. I really liked it, and I think for me it was a little underwhelming when compared to X and Pearl, because like I love X and Pearl. X came out of nowhere. I had no expectations for that, and then Pearl, I was still riding the high of X, so Pearl was very easy to just kind of, because it came out so soon after.
True.
There's been a little bit of time between Pearl and MaXXXine, so expectation has been able to kind of rise up in me. So I was expecting a bit more from MaXXXine than I did, say, from X.
So the biggest thing that I'm trying to figure out, like, where all of the films fit within each other in their own like horror-y style genres, between, from probably least to most like slashery horror, it would probably go Pearl, then MaXXXine, then X as the most slashery horror type.
Yeah.
And then like I struggle to figure out where they all fit in their genres. Although that might just be the normal thing that he wanted to do, and is basically creating 3 films that all have their own weird genre, and you can't fit me in a box.
I think you're right. I think that is exactly what he's trying to do he's taken elements from a bunch of different eras of film and influence, but I think he's trying to make X Pearl and
Which
MaXXXine
if you
unique.
were making films like that, that does make a lot of sense that you would start off with the most familiar one. Because out
Yes.
of the three, X does seem like the most familiar in its genre and the way that you can sort of predict things happening while also throwing in the little flair of you can never predict grandparents having sex on top of you. So,
Fair.
you throw in the little flair of things you can understand. And then you
So,
move over to Pearl, which has its more
mhm.
old. It does still have its sort of like slasher psychopath kind of thing going on, but it does take that into like a 50s direction. Like, let's go
Yeah.
even older and let's go really like old schooly with the way he's filming it and slowly
And the
change.
music.
That is true. The music too.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to MaXXXine, which is supposed to be after X.
Yes.
But
So now we're in the 80s.
But it is also the one that, even though it is the, black glove serial killer kind of, it is also the film that has the least, like, how would I put it? It has the least well-defined genre within horror of all three of them.
Yeah. And without spoiling it, I think MaXXXine is the closest. No, not the closest. I think you're dead on. And the way I would kind of use my understanding of different. So, according to my jargon, X is the slasher of the trio.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Pearl is the character study,
Mm-hmm.
and MaXXXine is the murder mystery thriller.
Yes.
That's how I would. Pearl is like the psychological character study. I meant to say psychological horror.
Oh God, yeah. Pearl is.
Yeah.
Pearl is all psychological.
And
Pearl is
MaXXXine
basically all psychological thriller, aside from just the moments at the end where it becomes gory, but it's pretty much a psychological thriller throughout with just a snap of insanity at the end.
And MaXXXine has like a lot of those 80s, like it draws from a lot of different influences, but I do think it has a lot of thriller in addition to like a giallo, in addition to like a noir. Like it's pulling from a lot, but I think I would comfortably say it's like a horror thriller.
Yes, but it also has the most prominent end girl stereotype of any of the films as well.
I think X kind of does too, but I'm going to make this a point. We are now in spoiler territory. So if you're listening to this, if you're watching this right at the moment, and you haven't seen MaXXXine, now is the time to head out. I thank you for joining us so far. I just want to make sure that no one who I don't want to spoil MaXXXine for anyone. So now is the time. We are about to get into spoiler warnings. So, spoiler warning for MaXXXine. Now that we're in the spoiler part, all right, bye, man. Thank you for joining.
Yeah, thank you for being in here.
So now that we're in the spoiler part for MaXXXine, here's why I think it's the weakest of the three.
Yeah.
It has the least amount of alligator.
Well, yeah, clearly. I don't. I don't even know if I saw one singular alligator in the whole film.
There was a cameo when her friend was watching it was like a VHS cameo. Her friend was watching an
Oh
alligator movie. Yep.
yeah. Uh-huh. Okay.
So
Can we talk about the animal in the room of the film?
Cocaine Goose.
Cocaine Goose. Oh my!
I love Cocaine Goose.
I need Cocaine Goose.
We all need a if A24 made replica Cocaine Gooses.
Actually, I'm fairly certain you could find Cocaine Goose at any local Goodwill.
But I need it to be exactly like MaXXXine's Cocaine Goose.
Okay, full of cocaine.
Yes.
Okay, fair. Makes sense. I don't think you're gonna get that from Goodwill. I think you gotta I think you gotta have special people for that one.
I better get it from A24.
Also, you can't afford Cocaine Goose.
Listen, when I'm a big hotshot Hollywood director and I'm working with A24.
If you become a big hotshot Hollywood director and you work with A24 and you get yourself a Cocaine Goose, it is the one and only time I will try cocaine.
Well, that's going to be my contract. Is like, I don't want a salary. I want a Cocaine Goose.
Then no. What's the point?
It's not about the money, Spider-Man.
Yeah, but if you don't have money to begin with, then it's kind of all about the money. Like, it'd be useless to not get money when you have no money.
Listen, I can always make money on the sequel.
That is true. Or you could get a second Cocaine Goose.
You drive a hard bargain there. But
I mean, take your pick. You could either be a drug dealer for your money. You could either do something that can make you a lot of money to end up becoming a drug dealer, or you could just accept the money from your job. Either or. Honestly, up to you.
Either way, I'm ending up with a Cocaine Goose.
Well, yeah, we have to have a Cocaine Goose at some point.
That is my new ambition in life.
I feel like that should be everyone's ambition. Actually, no, it should not. Scratch that. Nobody's ambition. Ambition.
Yeah. Well, some people have greater ambition, like a cocaine bear.
Oh my God.
So I had to.
As we were discussing, we need to find out a third. I mean, Cocaine Goose and Cocaine Bear could have a crossover movie with each other, which would be kind of cool. But if you get like 3 more cocaine animals, you could have the Cocaine Animal Avengers.
The Co-Animalverse. That didn't roll off the tongue at all.
Cocaine instruments.
So, okay, back to MaXXXine.
Okay, fine. Be lame. Let's get back to the thing we're actually supposed to be talking about.
Let's talk about this cast for a second. We got Mia Goth as MaXXXine. We have Kevin Bacon as, I don't remember his character's name, but he was chewing up the scenery. He was great. I loved him. He was
spectacular.
Giancarlo Esposito as Teddy the agent.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite character.
He was so stupid.
I loved him. Don't talk about my agent like that.
I'm your agent. I solve your problems, whatever they may be.
Just crushing Kevin Bacon.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
in a
And then I
bar
love the fact that
compactor.
it was, oh God, who was it that we were with? It was like, why was there the oh God, the animal, the
Cocaine
yeah.
Goose?
No, at the end of the screens, the National Humane Society. It's like, why
Oh,
was that there? What was that? There were no animals in it. And it was like, yeah, there were.
the dogs. Yep.
There were the dogs who were getting their little pieces of bacon.
Ayo.
Yeah, I stole your line. Suck it.
Hey, it's still immortalized. And you just gave me credit, so
Yeah,
I'm cool.
that's fair. You do deserve the credit for it. That was actually very good.
I, I think my mom's like, really, Austin? When I said it.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, come on,
Yeah.
seriously." Yeah, yeah, seriously.
Who else? Oh, there is Elizabeth Debicki as the director, and she was great. I loved her.
Mhm. Oh,
I
she
thought
was
she was
great.
awesome. She was powerful. I was like, oh, like she didn't take no shit. She was tough love, you know?
Yeah, although I 100% think she was basing her style and flow off of who was the director of the Barbie movie.
Greta Gerwig?
Yeah, I think she was basing her style and her flow off Greta Gerwig, but like
Hmm.
a more ass kicker Greta Gerwig.
Okay. Okay.
She
And let's
had
be real.
that similar style like look to him.
Let's be real. Greta Gerwig kicks ass.
Oh yeah, 100%.
All
Which
three of her
if
films have
she
been
was taking
bangers.
her inspiration from her, perfect. She's the one you want.
Fun fact, one of Ty West's earlier movies, House of the Devil, which came out in 2009, stars Greta Gerwig.
Oh, it stars Greta Gerwig?
She's one of the cast members, yeah.
Oh shit. Well, then yeah, you know for a fact that Ty West based the character off of her because it's like,
Because they're friends, because they know each
yeah.
other.
Oh yeah, because he's gonna be like, okay, you're gonna be just a straight up ass kicker female director in a male dominated world. And he's like, Greta Gerwig, look at what she does, do that.
I dig it. Who else is in this cast? Halsey is in the movie. She's
Halsey,
a
yeah.
singer, songwriter. Um, I didn't recognize her because I didn't know what she looked like, and you
Was
guys
it
had to tell me
was it
this is
Sia
Halsey.
as well?
I don't think so, but I could be
No.
wrong. I could be wrong.
Well, I don't know. There were singers in it, but the singers were her friends who got murdered.
Yeah,
You weren't.
right. Her friend, her that worked at the video store, Moses something. I don't remember. It's the first time I've seen him, so I'm gonna look up his name real quick because I don't want to get it wrong. It was the first time Moses Sumney. He was good. It was the
He
first
was
time I
very
seen
good.
him. He's a musician.
Oh, is he? Okay. Well,
Yeah. So there's something about Ty West and getting musicians in his
okay, now
movies.
please check who her two friends were who got murdered. Were they both musicians as well? Because if
All
so,
right.
then it means people
Um,
she's close with are all musicians.
Chloe Farnworth says she's an actor.
Okay.
So,
Fair.
but yeah, Halsey's one, and then
Yeah.
Sophie Thatcher, who people might know. She's young. She's like 22 or 23, but she's developing quite a career because she's in Yellow Jackets. She was in
Oh,
the Book of Boba
okay.
Fett. She was in The Boogeyman, and she's gonna be in that Heretic movie with Hugh Grant.
Ooh, nice.
She played the
Damn.
effects artist,
Ooh, okay.
the makeup effects artist. This is we have Michelle Monaghan and Bobby Cannavale as like
Yeah.
the detectives, and Bobby Cannavale playing Detective Torres, which I appreciate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I loved that.
They're Italian washing your race over there.
Mm-hmm.
But
But
no,
hey,
he was so good in that role.
sometimes
Which
we take what we can get.
which his role is awesome because until the end, before you knew, he did the perfect, just like trying to be an asshole cop. And then just once
Yeah.
you get to the end, he finally reveals that, yeah, he wanted to be an actor. He wanted to be an actor in Hollywood too. So he's literally
Yeah.
just some dude who ended up becoming a detective because his acting career failed. And so he acts over the top with everything, which kind of explains all of his past things throughout the whole movie of, well, why did he do that? Oh, because he's acting like he wanted to, like he's
Yeah.
acting like a badass cop, which also explains why he didn't become an actor.
Well, and that's kind of like the the thing about Hollywood, I guess, right? Is like
Yeah,
everyone over there, they're there because they want to be the hotshot director, the big star, but not everyone can be. So you go out to LA, follow your dreams. Sometimes you end up working at the video store. Are you're a detective? Are you
true.
doing porn? Like,
That is very, very fair. But no,
but
I think
yeah,
that guy his character was always fun when he was rolling around.
yes, yeah,
And it
he
was
was a
and
great.
it was and it was always the part of whenever MaXXXine was around, and then he fucked it up, and then as soon as she left, he just goes back to being just a normal person. I was like, there's no way there's no way that's too much. Not a
Yes,
chance.
and then
Again, second.
and then to round out the cast, we have Lily Collins, who played the lead actress in The Puritan 2,
Oh
where
yeah.
Maxine gets cast. And she has a small role, but she was great.
Oh yeah.
And then a reminder in case anyone's hopping in, this is the spoiler section for MaXXXine. So what I'm about to say is a spoiler. Just a reminder. We have a cameo from a horror filmmaker named Larry Fessenden. And he plays a security guard who MaXXXine sees at like the entrance to one of the
Mm.
studio, I think Universal Studios, and then he's the one that catches Kevin Bacon outside of the Bates Motel.
Mm-hmm.
And
No.
he's a filmmaker. He works a lot with like a lot of horror like Barbara Crampton a lot. He kind of gave Ty West his start.
Oh really? I
Mm-hmm.
didn't even know that. That's awesome.
And he's made quite of his own monster movies and stuff like that. But where I kind of like recognize him is he co-wrote, and he has a role in the video game Until Dawn.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
And
I don't know if I ever completed Until Dawn.
I know I actually just restarted a game the other day of Until Dawn.
Did you? Does
Yeah.
Until Dawn have 2-player? Because I do think I have it downloaded. Well,
I
not
will
downloaded.
double check. I don't know if it does.
Because I know like more of the new ones from them do. Like the whatever
Yeah, the
werewolf.
Quarry.
Yeah. Spoilers for the Quarry. There are werewolves in it.
Yeah. I think
but
we're okay talking about the Quarry now, and if
but
not,
but I
I'm sorry.
but I do know that that one has co-op as well. So if Until Dawn has co-op, I will definitely hit you up and let's play that some nights.
Yeah, I'll let you know. I'll let you know for sure because I just it's the first time I've played Until Dawn since Doug had it in the Trumpet House.
Well, it's free on PlayStation, so you should have had it a while ago.
Well, I have it now, so
Uh-huh. Yeah.
but yeah, that rounds out the cast for oh, and Mia Goth as Maxine. I don't think I needed to say that, but I didn't, and just in case, I said it.
I mean, she's been name dropped multiple times throughout this video. So
It's kind of her trilogy as much as it is Ty West's.
oh yeah, for sure.
Something I want to say about Maxine,
Is names.
because I do think Maxine is a little underwhelming story and thematically, story wise and thematically, especially when compared to X and Pearl. Um, in case people are curious about my Letterboxd, I rated X 4 stars, I rated Pearl 4.5 stars, and I rated Maxine 3.5 stars.
Yeah.
And they're all pretty high.
Very
I think they're all good, but I do think my rank, if I had to give you a ranking of them, it would be Pearl, X, Maxine, with Pearl and X kind of going back and forth depending on my mood, and Maxine is it's in third place.
I would put it as Pearl is thematically and from the way that things are done, the better film.
Mm-hmm.
But there are also plenty upon plenty upon plenty of times that I would just prefer to watch X.
That's fair.
Yeah. It's kind of
very fair.
It's kind of the way things roll.
But all that being said, I think Maxine is my favorite to look at.
Okay. Yeah, I can
think
see that.
Just on a pure aesthetic, just style wise, Maxine is my favorite in that regard.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Scene.
Are we thinking the same one? The chase scene through all of the sets?
No.
Oh, really? No.
I'm thinking of the scene where her friend who works at the VHS store, when he gets murdered, and she's reading the script and it's intercut. There's some of the nastiest gore. It's not the nastiest gore I've ever seen, but it's like it cuts deep.
Yeah.
Because it's like the one character that's not Maxine that you kind of care about.
Yeah, I mean, he was really the only he was just like a chill, nonchalant kind of character. He did have his little, snarky bitch side to him, but
that made him more lovable.
Who doesn't? Yeah,
exactly.
Everybody was a little snarky bitch every now and then. But yeah,
he was a homie through and through.
His murder scene was awesome, but from just a visual and the shot standpoint and the way things were rolled, the chase scene when Kevin Bacon is chasing down Maxine through the Hollywood sets, and you get the Old West, and you get the
Yeah.
old school movie theater, and you get Bates Motel and all of just rolling through all of those, and how you'd get the expanse of the area like that film would be being shot. And then
Yeah.
the moments where it gets very claustrophobic and it's her running through a back hall and things along those lines. And that was a very jarring, open, and, like very far away, very, very close, very far, very close kind of
It was a
just
great scene.
exchange between that. That was a very cool chase scene. I like that a lot.
And I don't know why this made me think of it, but it did. I can't control my brain sometimes. The other shout out to the real star of this franchise, Theta the alligator. Uh, when Maxine walks Halsey to the taxi, I believe it's that scene near the beginning. They're on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Maxine's on a star, and it's for Theta Bara, the silent film
Yeah.
star
Oh, you're
who.
cutting out a little bit on me.
Oh no! Oh no!
Okay,
We're doing it
got
live, guys. We're back.
We're
We're back. And we're back. What I was saying was, in the moment after, if I remember correctly, in the moment after Maxine
Yeah, yeah,
drops
yeah.
Halsey off at the taxi and they're on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Well, they're leaving
Yeah.
their job for the night.
Right. She looks
Working,
down and
working in the old peep show.
right. She looks down and she's standing on the star for Theta Bara, who Theta being the namesake of Theta the alligator.
Oh, I did not catch that because I did not rewatch any of the movies and had no idea what our Lord and Savior, Mrs. Alligator's name was.
And I got to give credit where credit's due. Our friend Doug caught that.
Did he?
Doug caught that, yeah. Because I remember I halfway caught it. I halfway caught it because I was like, Theta, why do I know that name? And I assumed because, like, I went to Michigan State for film studies. I've seen my fair share of old movies. Sometimes I just remember, but I don't remember everything I've seen.
Random actors and actresses' names, yeah, for sure.
Right. So I'm like, that must be how I know. And when we were all talking after, Doug was like, yeah, I liked how they called out the alligator with the Hollywood star Theta. And I was like, oh my God, you are so right. The alligator's name is Theta. Because before Maxine, I only rewatched X, and X didn't mention that. So when I rewatched Pearl today, it's come here, Theta, and I'm just like, that was a good catch, Doug. That was a good catch.
Fair. How long was it since he watched the films?
I don't know. He must have watched it kind of recently.
Yeah. Yeah, I had no idea at that. But no, that was a cool homage to it.
I thought that was really.
But now we have to move on to she is walking home.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's walking home from dropping off her friend or letting her friends hopping in the taxi.
Yeah.
And she's walking her way through an alleyway because it's a shortcut to her apartment. And there's this dude following her with a knife.
Yep.
Yeah, her alleyway is blocked off and she pulls a gun on him, forces him to strip down naked, and proceeds to smash his balls into the floor.
Wait. Before she does the literal ball busting.
Oh yeah, she makes him suck the gun.
She makes him suck the gun, and it's like a whole power play. And right before she does that, she goes, and this might be my favorite line in the movie. She says, "You know what happened to the last person who tried to kill me? I crushed her fucking head." And then
yeah. Mm-hmm.
and then she crushed his fucking balls.
Yeah, that was your shock moment of the film.
And
They've all got
yep.
one.
And honestly, good.
Oh
That
yeah,
dude deserved it.
absolutely. Oh yeah, 100%.
And it's,
And
you always
and
see the women being brutalized. Sometimes the dude's got to have it too.
I was gonna say though, for more modern horror movies, you see less and less of the women getting brutalized, and it's normally mostly men. But that's because the final girl trope has become so popular.
Well, I feel like women still get the more brutal deaths.
Well, and some women get just brutal deaths for no fucking reason. Looking at you, Jurassic World.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
and like the
that was
Terrifier franchise, as much as I love it, it gets its name from terrifying deaths, and the women are the ones that get them.
okay.
But
I have still yet to
yeah,
watch any of the Terrifier films.
they're gory.
Yeah, that's kind of what I assumed.
But I think I think there's a good well, I don't know if I want to say it like that, but I think the reason where women tend to get more brutal deaths than guys, I think guys are killed more often,
Yeah,
but I think women tend to get more longer, more drawn out deaths. Because I think I think us, the audience, tend to like women more as characters. So it hurts a little more when they die.
true. I also do think it very much. How would I put it? It probably it makes your villain of the film feel even more despicable every time
Yes.
that happens. Because
Yeah.
if it's some 250-pound just straight jack dude that your villain has gets the jump on him and kills him, that's like one thing. It's like, yeah, okay.
Right.
When it's some girl who can't fight back and he just takes and brutalizes them in some, like a person who can't fight back and it just brutalizes them in a terrible way, makes them so much more despicable. It makes the audience hate them just a little bit more.
Yeah, because like you look at Michael Myers in the original Halloween, he kills 3 girls, including his older sister when he was a kid, and then the one dude. You look at Freddy, Freddy actually kills. Freddy's pretty even. Kills Tina, kills what's his name? Johnny, kills Glenn, Johnny Depp's character, and then kills Nancy's mom. So it's like a even 2 girls, 2 guys. But Tina is the one that gets it the worst. Because Tina's the one who's being thrown all over the room and being slashed to all hell.
Well, yeah, that's also the dramatics of it. But the other fact is that they're dying in their dreams. So they can kind of be as brutal or as not brutal as he really wants. Tina also fought back more, right?
Well, the other kill, like, so Johnny Depp is like the blood geyser.
Yeah.
Johnny, I think his name's Johnny. I got to rewatch A Nightmare on Elm Street. He gets like the
Yeah, it
rope
is.
around his neck. I
Okay.
probably shouldn't have made that motion. Now I'm going to get demonetized. I'm not
What?
making that much money, so that's fine. But
But some.
but but Tina's the one that's being like thrown all over.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is it's nice. It's nice to see like a strong female character take power early in the movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's also they did a good job at leaning into the fact that this is a sequel. She's
Yes.
been here. She's done this.
It's
She
kinda
is no stranger to having a life-threatening situation.
You know who she reminds me of?
Then,
And I think this is the ultimate
like the new
compliment.
Screams.
No. Well, yeah. No, she reminds me of Ripley.
Oh, okay, yeah, very much so.
Cause like in MaXXXine, so comparing Ripley to MaXXXine in both of their first movies, they have their wants, you know. They're in an ensemble with arguably more interesting characters,
Yeah,
but they grow into the lead character over the movie. And even if you go into the movie to see, in the case of X, Brittany Snow, or Kid Cudi, or Jenna Ortega, or in the case of Alien, you go to see Tom Skerritt,
yeah,
or Ian Holm, or Yaphet Kotto, or John Hurt, or Veronica Cartwright. All people who are more famous than Sigourney Weaver at that time.
not anymore.
At the end of the movie, you are rooting for MaXXXine. You're rooting
yeah.
for Ripley. And then when MaXXXine or Aliens comes out, you see in Aliens, Ripley is like in the mech suit doing like, get away from her, you bitch. And you don't even second guess it because you saw her you
Yeah,
saw
you're
her
like,
learn how to kick ass in the first movie.
well, yeah, and it's good to see the characters who are like, yeah, the shock factor doesn't work on me anymore. I'm not the terrified individual I was in that first one.
Yeah.
The same, it would have to take something truly terrifying in order to break her.
Yes.
But like, no, that the change between it is very cool.
And
Because
MaXXXine, MaXXXine's dealing with shit. Like she's still dealing with the trauma that she suffered in X.
Yeah.
Because she has all those nightmares, and same thing with Ripley in Aliens.
Oh god, the face mold scene.
Yeah, that was so good. I liked that.
Oh god, that it was a very good scene, but also just made me cringe with grandma.
So I'm gonna start wrapping this up because
Yeah.
I could talk a little bit more. I really could, but it's late. We gotta
That
work
is true.
in the
You are
morning.
much later than I am, man.
Yep, that is true. So I do gotta wrap this up.
For
I
sure.
just got a few more questions for you.
Yeah.
My first one, and I'm pretty sure you already answered it, but just answer it again, just in case the people forgot, or just in case your humble Would You Die host had already forgotten. What would be, as of this moment, your ranking for this trilogy?
My ranking for the trilogy is it's basically the exact same as yours. 1 is Pearl, 2 is X, 3 is MaXXXine. But I'm also gonna say that I would say 1A is Pearl and 1B is X, and then 2 is MaXXXine because
Ours are exactly the same.
1A and 1B on any given day, I could like or want to watch the other one.
I
Yeah.
wholeheartedly agree with you. My rankings would be the same. So, do you think if you are in 1918 Texas and you come across Pearl in her prime, would you die?
(1918 Texas, Pearl in her prime. I will not die. But that's also because I would not get close to her.
That would be because I would not be in Texas.
Well, I mean that's also a thing too. But I'm putting
Yeah.
myself in 1918. I'd be out at the war at that time. So
You might die, but it wouldn't be because of Pearl.
Yeah. I mean the draft's a bitch, but what do I have to do?
And to talk about the real star of this trilogy,
Mm-hmm.
if it's 1918 Texas, if you came across Theta in her prime, would you die?
Oh yeah, I'm a goner immediately. I would just be laying in that lake, just laying back, relaxing myself, having no worries in the world, and then my life is over in an instant. And also, I am not one to turn away, swimming in a river. So
Fair.
it could be realistic that I would die to Theta.
I will say the exact same things as you. I don't think I would die by Pearl because I just simply wouldn't get that close.
Yeah,
She can't be like,
I don't have that, northern charm to be able to bring her into my movie theater.
yeah, she wouldn't be paying attention to me either. So
yeah, I mean, she wants a star. I ain't a star.
exactly. I feel that.
I'm more like Howard, but not a bitch.
I'm more like Howard, but probably more of a bitch.
I think you want to take that back. I don't know if you want to actually admit that on like a live.
Can't do it. It's live. I said what I said.
All right. A little weird, but we'll let it go.
But not for Pearl.
Oh,
Theta.
okay. Wait,
I would
what?
ride or die for Theta.
I mean, yeah, she's a sweet alligator.
She's a star.
Like I would purchase home by that lake just to feed Theta. And then when I eventually give up on life, just jump in the river. Like, Theta, it's time for me to go.
The last meal I will give you, Theta.
Douche. Skroosh.
So on that note,
thank
you so much. Oh my God, saying Theta all this time. I'm saying like Tho. Thank
Theta,
you so much. Yeah.
All praise our God Queen Theta. Yeah.
I'm gonna need some Theta figures for my shelves behind me.
I mean, you might not find Theta, but I'm sure you could find generic alligator.
I will just call Theta.
Yeah, of course. 100%.
So everyone listening, thank you so much for joining us today. Everyone watching this live stream, everyone who commented, thank you so much. I really like doing these live streams. I'm going to do more. I'm still learning, so I appreciate the patience with them, but I really love these live stream episodes. I find them so much fun, and I'm glad I started doing them.
This has been awesome, and I have caught a few of your live streams. Not for the full time, for a little bit of it. Yeah, I know. By the time your live streams are going on, I'm like cooking dinner, and I'm like,
That's
I got
fair.
you. I got you playing in the background while I'm, working something on the skillet.
Hey, that's all I can ask for.
Yeah,
So thank you, Evan, for joining me. Thank
absolutely.
you, everyone, for listening, tuning in. Next week is going to be a fun episode. We are talking about horror gaming.
Oh,
Um,
what you got for
and
that one?
then um, I'll announce it
Okay, all
on
right,
Insta.
fair
Insta
enough.
follow my socials at Would You Die Show at on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. I'm also on TikTok at Would You Die Podcast. Sign up for my Patreon. Only $3 a month. You get exclusive extended episodes, including last week's episode with the Cadaver Dogs podcast on Ronald Reagan and his effect on horror cinema in the 80s. I also write movie reviews, so I did a MaXXXine review the other weekend. I'll probably do one for Long Legs. So $3 a month, you directly support me, and you get whatever I can make that month. It depends from month to month, but I work really hard to give everyone um at least one new thing a week, and for you get 4 exclusive things for $3 a month. I think that's a pretty rad deal, and you help me directly. So that's my
Thank you.
Patreon plug. Spider is showing at the Chicago Horror Film Fest this September, the either 27th, 28th, or 29th. So if you're in the Chicago area, check out Spider then. I'm hoping
Even if you're
Spider
not,
the
go to
Morphin.
Chicago. Go and see it.
Yes, I'm really proud of Spider, and I'm really happy that it got its first selection. And that's all my plugs. You got anything to plug, Evan?
Nope. I I mean, I'm not really on anything. If you want to follow me on anything, I'm not posting anything. So, just I'm more to myself. I enjoy that.
Perfect. And you know what? That's how it should be sometimes. I
Shout out to
think
Shelly, who fell asleep at like 7:30.
love it.
Give her that shout out.
Living the dream.
Uh-huh. Sure.
So
You're lame.
it's my dream. A dream's a dream.
Nah, that's fair. Everybody has their own dreams.
So, all right, guys. Everyone have a splendid night, and thank you for tuning in.
Don't let Pearl get you.
But let Theta get you. Theta's a homie.
I mean, if Theta's hungry, feed her.